Good morning, Seneca County. I'm glad to be back with you today from the Seneca County General Health District. I'm Beth Schweitzer, and we want to continue to keep you updated on what's happening with the COVID-19 situation here in our community. Right now in Seneca County, we have had 4 positive cases reported and 1 positive case that's resulted in death. So that means we've had 5 positive cases with the 1 resulting in death. Again, as I've said before, with the community spread of this particular infection, we know that there are probably people out there who have no symptoms or very mild symptoms that could be positive, and that is why we want to have you continue to follow the stay-at-home order and practice all of the recommendations we have to prevent the spread of the infection. On the state level, if you've heard the governor and Dr. Acton's report from yesterday at 2 o'clock, we have 2,199 cases in the state of Ohio, ranging from the age of less than 1 year all the way up to 99. So this disease is affecting a wide range of ages. And unfortunately, we've had 55 deaths. You know, it seems as though most of the information I've been bringing to you in these live podcasts has been very solemn, and this is a serious situation. But I am seeing some bright spots in this, as well as my community members are that they have reported to me. Several days ago, Dr. Acton, and for the last few weeks, has been talking about flattening the curve. And I don't know if you've seen the chart, but I have a chart here today, and I'm going to show you. Dr. Acton said if we follow these guidelines for mitigating the spread of this disease, we will have an impact. Here's a diagram that shows 2 curves. The yellow one has a very high peak with a short span of days. That shows what the progression of cases would be if we were not taking any measures to stop the spread of COVID-19. The flatter blue curve that you see is how the number of cases will progress if we do follow the stay-at-home and social distancing mandates. So, as you can see, it appears that in Ohio we are flattening that curve. That means what we are doing is helping to stop the spread of that disease. So I really encourage you to continue the measures you have been taking. You're doing a great job. And the rest of you who maybe have not, I hope you join in so we can keep that curve flat and keep flattening it. Today, Mayor Keckler is going to join me, and he and I want to share some things that we have seen happening in the community that really help brighten the day in this unprecedented event. Now, if you've been walking in your neighborhood or driving down the streets in your town, you may have been seeing bears, and I'm talking about teddy bears. This is a nationwide effort to have kids turn into scavenger hunters as they're out walking and enjoying the weather and not being able to spend time near their friends. Might make a game out of it. Have your children count the number of bears they see each day, and on social media then compare that with the number of bears their friends have seen. Some of our service clubs are finding ways to do what they do, which is serve others in times of need. The Tiffin Kiwanis Club is donating money and also asking members of the community to add to their donations so they can provide the agencies that are currently helping our citizens with the funds that they so desperately need. Some of those agencies who are available by phone, don't stop in, but they are available by phone to reach out to if you do have some needs or concerns, include First Call for Help and United Way. Also, the Community Foundation has set up a fund that will be designated strictly to serve those that are experiencing hardship caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. The Tiffin Rotary Club has assembled a group of volunteers to work with the Allen Irie Senior Center. If a citizen cannot get out because of a disability or because they just need to stay in because of having a higher risk of contracting COVID-19 and feel that they need to stay inside, they can call the center. Diane Culver will then contact the coordinator of this program, and one of the volunteers will be enlisted to contact the person needing the assistance, to arrange a time that's convenient for them to pick up a check, for example, or an insurance card if they need medications picked up. Then they will pick up the essentials and return to drop off the items while maintaining that 6-foot social distancing measure. You can work that out with the volunteer and the person who is in need, how you can leave those items at the door so that you do not need to make that 6-foot contact. Then there's a young lady named Taylor Eckert, who's a photographer, and her business did not fall into the essential business realm. Therefore, she had to stop taking photographs of clients. But rather than letting that get her down, she has turned it into something good. She has joined the porch portrait event where photographers are going around the community and taking pictures of families on their porches or in front of their house, and she's doing that for free. So thanks to Taylor for doing that. I would still encourage all of you to check on your neighbors by phone or by social media to see if they need assistance, or just check on somebody who you know is alone and needs some contact and would like to hear a friendly voice. Have neighborhood Zoom parties, Skype with your family and friends. Bring back that lost art of letter writing. Just stay in contact with others, encourage others, share jokes and funny stories. I want to go back to a request I made on Wednesday about businesses contacting me with their statements that show that they are an essential business. If you were explicitly listed in the order that Dr. Amy Acton issued, then you do not need to send me that statement. If you are listed in that list, you do not need. And I'm talking again about grocery stores, gas stations, medical facilities, those places that need to continue operating to serve our citizens with essential needs. And I apologize for not having mentioned that earlier. Again, I am going to ask you to please follow those guidelines that we have been promoting for the past several weeks. That 6-foot distance. Please wash your hands, don't touch your face, stay home when sick, cover those coughs and sneezes, and please follow the orders that have been issued by Governor DeWine as well as Dr. Amy Acton of the Ohio Department of Health. Doing those things will make a difference. Now I'm going to turn this over to Mayor Keckler, and I thank him for joining us today, and I'm looking forward to hearing what's happening in Fostoria right now.
Well, thank you, Beth, and I certainly do appreciate your updates. Been very informative, and I like the idea today to try to spread some of the good things that are going on in communities and especially ours. Before we start, though, I do want to take the opportunity to thank all those people on the front lines, our doctors and nurses and our EMS workers and the police, and the people in the nursing homes that are working so hard to keep all those precious people so safe in those nursing homes. It's very important at this time. I took one of those walks over the weekend, Beth, and ran into several, did a little bear hunting myself, ran into several people that had teddy bears in their windows. I too have a teddy bear in my front window that I dug out of the attic. He hasn't seen the light of day probably for the last 30 years or so, but and then we all, my wife and I took the walk through the community and just enjoyed some of the things that maybe we hadn't been thinking about for a while. Like we have the murals throughout Fostoria that has been done on sides of buildings, and that art walk that we had with the sculptures throughout the downtown. And I know today is I think it's National Take a Walk Day. And so I invite people to take their walk today following the proper social distancing and take a look at those sculptures and those murals throughout the downtown. Dr. Salkin and Dr. Kin, a local dentist in Fostoria, painted a giant smiley face on the side of their building. And it was just, they're closed except for emergency surgeries right now. And their message to the community was to keep faith and to smile, and I think that was a good message to the community. And I was thinking this morning, Memorial Day's coming up, and every year you think about how how strong Americans are, how they adapt, and how they improvise. And you look and see, just like in World War II, companies are changing some of the things that they make in order to help us get through this horrible situation that we're in. People making ventilators and also making sterilization equipment for masks right here in Ohio. And another thing with World War II was people would wait for FDR to come on to do his radio show, and now here in Ohio every day at 2 o'clock everybody waits for the governor to come on. And because Ohioans and Americans still have a sense of humor, it's turned into 2 o'clock, the Wine with the Wine show, and the Dr. Amy Acton fan club has popped up, which I am a member. But the governor and Dr. Acton and Lieutenant Governor have been such a calming force, especially Dr. Acton. She gives such confidence that they have a handle on this, and they've done great things. It's been tough, but the things you see since some of the businesses have been closed, people in the community reaching out to help support the restaurants. We created a Facebook page, Fostoria Menus for Takeout and Delivery, that we created right after the first day the governor announced all the closings. And we now are well over 1,000 members, where people, businesses can get on there, they can share their menus and how to get the food, and people are doing daily specials. So it's important to support those little local restaurants so that we can keep them in business and keep the economy flowing. And just another thing that we saw were people in the community making masks, and I saw some masks in our police department just the other day, and Wendy's had donated some chili and some food for the police department just to try to help out. When the schools closed, our schools quickly had the students ready to learn at home, but then they also made sure all the kids had food every day, lunches and breakfast, because they knew that was important. But also the Sharing Kitchen in Fostoria continues to do sack lunches for people, and as well as the Pantry Plus, giving away a week's worth of food for people that come and ask for the food, and people giving donations to that and donating to ProMedica for some of the things that they need in Fostoria. Churches having those live stream church services, and one church in Fostoria did a little caravan to visit some of the older folks in their church community, just to drive by to tell them that they're thinking about them, and to let them know that they're not alone, even though they're isolated in their homes, that they're not alone. And I see people working out through like Zoom, friends who had worked out together as a group now working out together virtually, so that they have their community time, but spaced from one another. I know that in Fostoria, Renee Smith with FEDC and Sarah Stevens-Krupp with the Chamber have been following very closely all the information coming out of the Small Business Association and out of all the information that was just passed by the federal government, and trying to translate that information and reaching out to small businesses and to industries, and keeping up with all the things going on with unemployment to try to help people get through this as best they can. So all that information is out there on Facebook pages. We share them so people can get help where they need it, know where to go, what agency to find. But we're all just working together to try to do the best we can to get through. I know there's been a really great cooperative effort through all elected officials in Seneca County, sharing information, working together. It just has been an experience that has been tough to live through, but we're all going to work together. I know I speak hopefully for Beth and for Aaron Montz and Tony and Shane and Mike, that we're all going to continue to work together. We're going to continue to share information with all of you, and stay strong, and together we'll get through this. And so just we'll try to be as positive as we can through all this stuff, Beth.
Again, thank you for tuning in today. I would like to ask you to tell us what you want to hear about. I know facts are very important. Sometimes I feel like I'm repeating the same facts over and over, which are important to hear, and I know new people tune in that may have not heard those. But if you could let us know what you'd like to hear about, we'd love to be able to address those concerns that you have. You can send that to our Facebook page, and we will do our best to answer those questions you have. Again, thank you, and see you back here on Friday, and we look forward to that.